I needed to raise some money. Having decided that I wanted to publish books, I needed to raise some money, and I went down the route mainly through family and friends and immediate network, and managed to raise £25,000. I was so convinced that this book was such an important thing in society, this first book we were going to do. It was going to help change the way the world should be. I ended up spending 19,000 of that 25,000 on the first print run. And so confident I was that every bookshop would feel the same way as me, I wrote this 3-page letter to one of the main retailers, and to a lady there who was the buyer, and spent ages crafting the argument as to why she had a moral obligation to support this book and how this book mattered. And therefore that was why she should buy it, and try and make all of her customers that come into her shop buy it. And a week or so later, I phoned her up, and I said, "Oh, hi Siobhan, it's Dan from Traveller's Eye," and she started laughing at me, which was really, and actually I kind of get it now, but at the time I was slightly taken aback, and she was like, "I've never received a letter like that. However long I've worked in buying books, I've never received a letter like that." She said, "You're absolutely clueless. You clearly have not worked in this industry before," which I hadn't. But she said, "Look, I'm so impressed that you kind of took that angle. What I'll do is this, because I don't think it's really a book that would work for our shops, but what I promise you is this. If you go and get it into a national newspaper, then we'll stock your book." So I thought, okay, fine, that's the next task. And I went down to London and went to Wapping and managed to get into one of the papers and into an editor's office who was out having a boozy lunch. And when they got back and came into their office thinking they could probably just sit back for the afternoon, they were slightly surprised to see this young 20-year-old sitting there. "Oh, hi, I'm going to tell you about something that's going to change the world of books." Anyway, long and short of it was they did. They put 6 pages into their magazine, and we got it into WH Smith as a result. 90% of books sell less than 3,000 copies. 2% of books sell over 100,000 copies. And therefore, if you throw enough at the wall, you'll get your 2%. And often, how it used to be, was all about those numbers. And the economies of scales that would come in, you'd have buying power. And whilst I've never, unfortunately, yet, in 20 years, had one of those 2%ers that have gone on to sell more than 100,000 books, I'm at least proud to say that I've also never had one that sold less than 3,000. So kind of all of our books have been in the top 10%, and I definitely want to keep it that way.